Good afternoon, Topp. Welcome to the Task podcast. It's great to have you on.
Thank you for inviting me, Matt. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to it, and a few things to cover. And I know we've kind of had chats on email back and forth. So, but I will have done a little bit of an intro to yourself and your background. But it'd be great if you can just kind of broaden that and just give our audience the kind of brief what you do, Bitkub, and your role in the sector.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Topp. I am Thai, and I've been in the blockchain and cryptocurrency industry for 8 years now. I was one of the very first persons in Thailand to advocate to everyone about Bitcoin and its potential. During those 8 years, I've founded 2 companies. The first one was called coins.co.th. It was one of the very first Bitcoin wallets in the country. Back then, people did not understand what Bitcoin was. People thought Bitcoin was a Ponzi scheme, money laundering, drug money, toy money. Don't go anywhere near it. That was the general perception. And back in the days, a lot of many regulators were, investigating on our companies and myself. So those were tough times. But eventually, we got through and. Gojek acquired the group, and then Bitkub is now my second company. We are now the largest blockchain and cryptocurrency companies in Thailand. Under our group, there are 4 companies that does different blockchain businesses. The first one is the largest fully regulated cryptocurrency exchange in the country, which controls 96.7% market share in Thailand right now. So almost everyone that trades Bitcoin uses Bitkub in Thailand at the moment. We have over 50 billion baht of customers' assets with us right now, and the daily average of trading volume is around 8 billion baht per day to 10 billion baht per day on trading volume. And the second company is called Bitkub Chain and NFT markets. So the second company's aim is to create another marketplace, which is a non-fungible token market. And we already launched the Bitkub Chain as an infrastructure for people to tokenize their assets cheaply, efficiently. And we also have a native coin called Cup as an operating system in the Bitkub Chain. And the third company is called Bitkub Academy. We have our vision is to create an open education system for the country. So we have monthly meetups, online meetups, physical meetups, and classes every week to educate the customers on how to buy, how to sell, how to send money overseas with cryptocurrency, how to open accounts. And then the fourth company is called Bitkub Ventures. This company is set up to invest in other startups and protocols. So we invest in other startups that have potential synergies within our group. So we invested in a few GameFi, play-to-earn games, in a revenue sharing model. We have a different market thesis to the previous traditional finances, where we believe more in the intellectual capital than the physical assets. So we invest in things like gaming strategies. We believe that we can monetize gaming strategies and play to earn games. Those intellectual capital worth more than physical assets. This is our market thesis, and we also invest in protocols. And the company is, I would say, one of the most profitable startup in the Thai startup history. I think the most profitable startup in the Thai startup history. Right now we have 1,478 employees under our group, and this year we will be making at least 5 billion baht of revenue, with a net profit of 2 billion baht. 2 to 3 billion baht of net profits. So that's around $100 million of net profit. And if we were to times this by a PE ratio of 10, this would put us to be a first profitable unicorn in the country. And this has been my journey so far. During those 8 years, there were a lot of tough times and good times, and now we are like a leader in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space in Thailand. Thank you.
Great. Well, yeah, look, I mean, congratulations, a real success story, but it's not just a story. It may also be the beginning of another story, because I think, what you're seeing today, and, certainly you've come a long way, but there's a lot going to happen, over the next 10 years, clearly 10 to 15 years, which, kind of begs my first question, really. There's been a lot of focus on the sector, in the last 12 months for one reason or another. And, I speak to lots of different people every week, and there are the kind of believers, and then there are the kind of non-believers. There's not much leeway in between. And, a lot of people are kind of grappling with this, where is this space going? What is happening with crypto? What are we going to be seeing, 10, 15 years from now, which I know is a long way ahead, but I'm assuming you would have a real good kind of hold on that and a good vision of that. Where do you see this whole sector going, and how is it going to kind of encompass the economy, and what are people going to be dealing with in terms of, crypto in everyday life 10 years from now?
Sure. Matt, you were absolutely right. There were like two groups here, very different groups, strong believers and really like haters and totally non-believers here. This is what I have witnessed in the past like 8 years. But I would say the non-believers are getting less and less as we move forward. Back then, I remember when I first started my first company, there were a lot of non-believers. People thought Bitcoin was a Ponzi scheme, drug money. I got an investigation letter from the anti-money laundering officers. I got another letter from the Bank of Thailand. They thought that I was creating a competing currency, which a private company do not have rights to create, a legal tender, right? And I even got a letter from the revenue department if we were hiding taxes. How do we pay taxes with these things, right? So there were a lot of issues back in the days. I would not repeat the same thing again. Right? It was really tough. But as we, move forward in the future, we see that the non-believers are getting less and less. As education catches up eventually. People are, get to understand blockchain to the core more and more each day. People get to the education is really accessible to more and more people as we move along. And as you can see, Thailand is one of the very first country to regulate this space. We were actually one of the very first exchanges in the world to have a proper license from the SEC, Security Exchange Commission. And this license is issued by the Ministry of Finance. So if you look at Bitkub, we are already considered as a financial institution, but under the SEC, not under the Bank of Thailand, right? And we are holding a lot of customers' assets right now. And if you were to be in Bangkok, you will see Bitkub everywhere, on billboards, on SkyTrain, everywhere. We already have 2.3 million customers. Right? We're one of the fastest growing companies in Thailand in the last 3 years, averaging 1,000% growth consecutively for 4 years. And the space is one of the fastest growing as well. It's definitely a sunrise industry. And if you have heard the developments, recently the Bank of Thailand is issuing a central bank digital currency, which will be coming out in the first quarter of next year, less than 6 months from now. And we see not just the central bank digital currency that is coming out. We also see, financial institutions coming into our space. All of the biggest banks in Thailand has their DeFi team. They have their exchange team. They are applying for exactly the same licenses as us now. They're willing to put crazy amount of money into the space. They're believing that, finance 3.0 is here to stay and it's going to be the future. what they have been doing, finance 1.0, bank branches, ATMs, money counting machines. Those are the old days, and it's a sunset businesses. They see their profit margins declining every day, and they're preparing for finance 2.0 and finance 3.0, right? DeFi, exchange, decentralized exchange protocols, blockchain, and a financial platform, and not just financial institutions. We also see that companies from publicly listed companies are opening up accounts with us to buy Bitcoin as their reserve. Right? Both companies in the stock exchange and private companies also that are outside of the stock exchanges, they are now opening up a corporate account with us. Right? So we see clear trends that even the central bank is entering the space, creating their own central bank digital currency. Financial institutions in Thailand are all coming in, setting up their DeFi team, believing in finance 3.0. We see, publicly listed companies and private companies opening up accounts with us, stocking up on Bitcoin as their reserve. And you also see real sectors now, right? Partnering with Bitkub, people can pay for condos, their apartments and condos with cryptocurrency. We partnered with pretty much all the biggest real estate players now in Thailand. They are all connected to our gateway, crypto payment gateway, and they could generate some sales actually, like real transaction with people, customers buying, condos, apartments with crypto, and also luxury cars, like supercars. All the supercars brand are connected to our platform as well. So we can see, real sectors, joining in on this cryptocurrency developments and use cases. And today is the first day in Thailand that even the real estate, one of the biggest real estate players, is launching their own coin, ICO, real estate backed token.
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen actually, just to your point, I mean, I've seen a number of these real estate being put out there, and real estate companies adopting Bitcoin as a way of paying. Obviously, the volatility is one of the challenges. How long do you think that volatility will last for? Because obviously it gets tricky using a currency to buy something when the volatility is the way it is. Do you think that will cease at some point in the kind of foreseeable future?
Sure. The volatility question, it comes down to the basic of finances, right? Once when the user base is small, the volatility is high. When any exogenous shock hits the market, then it would have a big impact. But once the user base grows bigger and bigger, the volatility drops as the same exogenous shock hits the market, right? I guess the best analogy is to look at this in, let's say, if the user base of Bitcoin is a swimming pool in the early days, as a swimming pool. Exogenous shock is the equivalent of a fat person, right? When a fat person jumps into a swimming pool, it creates a big splash, high impact, like volatility. But as user base grows, that swimming pool is no longer a swimming pool, but becomes an ocean or a sea, right, a beach. Once the same exogenous shock, a fat person jumps into an ocean, she barely has an impact on the overall mass of the ocean. The volatility drops. This basic of finance applies to all kinds of assets. The US dollars, gold. Imagine if people stop using dollars today, and the overall user base becomes a swimming pool. Then you'll see dollars moving at 20% up and down every day. It applies to all kinds of assets. And the reason why we don't see volatility in dollars and gold is because the mass is huge. The user base is huge already. Right? So as we move along in the future, we have seen this exponential trend of Bitcoin wallets being opened every year. So for the first 8 years, there were 28 million Bitcoin wallets opened in the first 8 years. And when we entered the 9th and the 10th year, only those 2 years, we generated 22 million more wallets, right? We went up to 50 million wallets overall, right? We see an exponential increase in the number of wallets being opened. And for the next 10 years, I would say it's not going to be an additional 50 million wallets. It's going to be, we're going to hit 1 billion cryptocurrency wallets worldwide in the next decade, whether direct or indirect usage, and the volatility would drop as we move forward in the future. But right now, it doesn't matter. The volatility has no impact on the payments. And the reason is because we have companies like Bitkub as an exchange. We act as a payment gateway for real sector customers, right? Imagine if a person, say David, wants to buy his condo or his noodles, right? With a cryptocurrency, with his Bitcoin. And if Sansri or Ananda Condo has an account with us already, they can turn on the auto hedge function and auto withdrawal function. Right? Once David scanned that QR code, there will be a quotation popping up and said, "This is the equivalent price of Bitcoin in terms of Thai baht at that current market rate." And if David pressed enter, he already agrees that he would auto sell at the market rate, right? So the Bitcoin would be wired to the Bitkub exchange, and we would automatically put in a market order, not a limit order, right? A market order, and then it would be automatically exchanged into Thai baht. And the role of Bitkub as a payment gateway is to wire that Thai baht to that real estate players or to that merchant, selling noodles on this side street, right? And that transaction would take 3 seconds, right? 24 hours, 7 days per week. We already connected to all the banking rails, local banks in Thailand. So it doesn't matter if today's Bitcoin price is, 1.5 million baht or 2 million baht or 10 million baht, right? So long as the users agree that this is the price, the exchange rate that they're happy to pay, the receiver, doesn't need to know which coin the customers is paying for their condos or noodles with, because at the end of the day, they would only see fiat currency arriving in their bank accounts in the same manner that they are accepting credit cards or paper money. Right? So we call it, we humanize the process. Right? We make it easy, and we hide all the complexity of blockchain and private public key, algorithm.
Cool, makes a lot of sense. Cheers for explaining that. Slightly on a different tangent, NFTs. I really want to get in a little bit into NFTs with you. There's a huge buzz around NFTs at the moment. Of course, the emergence initially in the art space, but and actually, I know you guys have just launched something this week, right? Is it Power of Passion? Did I get is that the right title? Which is linked to what Miss Universe Thailand. So NFTs around that, which kind of good segue to the question, really. This NFT space. I mean, I get a lot of questions about it because as a business, we're going into this sector from a very socially focused point of view, and we've got opinions on the real value of NFTs. How big do you see this NFT space, and where else do you see it being used? I know that's a very big question, but I'm just wondering, beyond the stuff you're doing with Miss Universe Thailand, and where else can we see NFTs? Is it all about gamification? Is there other use cases beyond the kind of the art and the gamification that you're seeing?
To be honest, I have never been more excited about the future. I can tell you for sure, in certainty, that in the next 5 years, gaming would never be the same again. And in the next 5 years, advertisement industry would never be the same again. And the entertainment industry also would never be the same. Influencers industry would never be the same again. It's a big disruption coming in. And we know that it's already working. For the first time in human history, you can play games and earn money, earn your living. For the first time in human history, you can watch advertisement and earn money, real money, for the first time. For the first time in human history, right? You can interact with the influencers or the artists that you love on a much, much deeper level, not just his or her voice. Sometimes we love an artist more than the basic layer of his or her voice. We may love the moments or the intangible assets that we love about that person. But the traditional media cannot extract that or monetize different layers of artists or or the musician that we love. And we created this NFT market, and we're going to be launching in October. And we already have a lot of real sectors lining up to partner with us. Miss Universe Thailand, for example. For the first time in human history, we can actually tokenize, a long history of Miss Thailand, Miss Universe Thailand. We can have, action tokens by, celebrities and, role models. For the first time, we can have, musicians that we love sing a happy birthday clip or video, and we can monetize that, right? And pay that with a social token. We call it fans token. We create a win-win-win business models where viewers can watch videos and collect digital collectibles, tokens, and the viewers can use those tokens in exchange to redeem actions from the YouTubers or the influencers. For example, he can, the YouTubers can sing the happy birthday song for the viewers in exchange for those collected tokens, up to maybe 1,000 tokens, so that customers would at least watch his or her video at least 1,000 video before he or she can redeem that. And for those without the time to watch videos but with the money to pay, they can also put in a limit order on Bitkub exchange and said, guys, I don't have enough time to watch all the videos, but I love this person, and tomorrow is my friend's birthday. I need to surprise him with an intangible asset. I don't want to buy shoes and bags for him or for her. I want to buy something that money cannot buy, something closer, deeper, engagement with he or she is crazy about this celebrity. I want to send him or her a happy birthday personal clip, a video clip, but I don't have enough time to watch to collect all these tokens. I'm going to put in orders on Bitkub. Anyone has a token to sell, 10 baht. Anyone want to sell 100 baht? So there'll be a bidding target going. So we create a win-win-win situation for the influencers. They would have more engagements with their viewers and more views, more content engagements. For the viewers, for the first time in history, we can make it into a living. For those without jobs and they need to generate incomes, they can just watch videos all day, and that's already a new profession. And those with with money but without time, he or she can buy something that money cannot buy, intangible assets, right? So we created a win-win-win situation, and we also partner with a lot of real sectors right now. As you know, COVID affected a lot of real sectors in the old economy, where people do not want to enter the department stores or go outside of their houses. We can increase foot traffic of traditional businesses and restaurants. For example, we can partner with Barbecue Plaza, right? And if Barbecue Plaza wants to generate more sales, we can say that customers would have to physically enter this particular store at this particular location to collect digital swords in a GameFi, earn to play, right? If you want to stay at home, play your games, you'll never get these swords, no matter how much money you have in the game. The only way to get this special sword is to go into this particular physical store physically and scan the QR code and
cool. That's a cool idea.
Right? At least consume a meal there. And then Barbecue Plaza on the back end would be buying a bulk of gaming items with us. And say monthly, I need a million swords so I can give to 1 million customers on the back end. So we would monetize NFT games, products, items to the real sectors. And the real sector said, on average, I'm paying Bitkub 20% on each source, but my profit margin on food is 200%. I don't mind, as long as you increase my foot traffic. I can just bring customers to my store, right? And customers would win also, because once they consume the meal, they can sell the swords on a secondary market and they can earn a living. Maybe that could be a free meal for the customers, because they would already earn a profit on selling that sword, right? So we can increase foot traffic to different cities also, Phuket, Chiang Mai, not just in Bangkok, right? And even condos, if condos want people to visit the actual space to experience, what the condos would look like, they could partner with us to collect digital, items to generate more sales. And this is where we see the real sector, blending in with the digital economy use cases. And this is going to be huge. We can increase almost sales of everything. Green tea bottle, if you want to increase green tea sales, you can scan QR code, on the cap, right, under the cap, to gamble on different game items, but you have to buy that green tea bottle first, right? So we can partner with the real sectors to increase sales in many dimensions. And I'm very excited. We can create a win-win-win situation here. Nobody has to lose out, right? Advertisers get to have more engagement, more viewers. The ones sharing the media companies, they can earn and more money with the advertisers now because they can create more engagement with the users. For the first time in human history, users also earn money from watching advertisements and play games and interact with their celebrities. So I think it's going to be a huge disruption coming in the next 5 years.
I absolutely share your excitement, and thanks for sharing all that, because some of those some of what you explained now I hadn't really considered. What is interesting, I think, I asked you about NFTs. Throughout all of that answer, you didn't use the word NFT, which I think is so important, because part of the confusion I think right now is people hear this word NFT and they have to start understanding the technology, which frankly that isn't what you need to understand in terms of the application in everyday life. And those examples that you gave, in every one of those situations, the person that's involved, whether it's the shopkeeper getting more customers in, whether it's the player or individual coming in and getting the tokens, they don't need to understand NFTs. They just need to be part of this community process, which is why it's very exciting, hugely disruptive. You touched on a little bit there, how it could potentially help out restaurants that are during COVID. Are there any other insights you can share of how you could see it potentially disrupting and adding value to the charity sector, which is somewhere we're obviously in that sector, looking at ways that we can bring more value to social enterprises, non-profits. Are there other use cases that you can see where it can really kind of bolster fundraising, social projects?
Sure. If we talk about the fungible token first, like Bitcoin and Ethereum and other current cryptocurrencies in the market, fungibility property is one of the characteristic of money, right? If fungibility means every 1 baht is the same, every 5 baht is the same, every gold bar is the same. We call it fungible tokens. And NFTs is the non-fungible token. So every item is unique, very unique, right? And if you talk about the fungible token first, how it would change the donation industry. Right now, there's no transparency, no accountability in the donation space. Right? When you see a person is crying in front of a television, say if I'm in Bangkok, a person in Chiang Mai was affected by, I don't know, forest or burn, fire, or flooding, and then the reporter is interviewing her on TV. And if I'm based in Bangkok, I want to donate money to help out that lady, say in the television that I see. The current process has no transparency or accountability. I would bring up maybe Red Cross and said, I would like to donate 1,000 baht, say, for example, to the lady in Chiang Mai in front of the television that I see right now. And the Red Cross would say, just donate to this general charity, and we'll try our best to help out. And that 1,000 baht that we donated, we never, some of that goes to the OPEX, operating costs of running the charity already. And the rest, we never know if that it reaches that lady that we see in camera, on TV, right? With the arrival of cryptocurrency, for the first time in human history, we can send donation on TV screen, right? That lady, if she knows that she's live on a live television and she's affected by a flood or forest fire, she can just bring up a piece of paper with a QR code and said, help me. Everyone watching the TV at that moment, they can just put out their phone, bring up their phone, and with 2 clicks, right? The first one is, to scan the QR code in front of the TV screen. And the second step is to click send a payment, right? And, Bitcoin would arrive within 30 minutes, bypassed all the intermediaries with full transparency and accountability directly to her wallet, right? And what is interesting also, not just in terms of transparency or accountability, is micropayments. We can donate 0.0000001 Bitcoin, right? So for the first time in human history again, cryptocurrency makes micropayments economical, right? Feasible. Right now, we can never transfer 5 baht or 10 baht or 50 cents overseas because the actual cost is already much higher. Right? But with the cryptocurrency, properties of divisibility properties, then we can just scan QR code and within 30 minutes for Bitcoin, but much shorter for other cryptocurrency, shorter wait time, the money would hit right away, right? And we can wire very, very small amounts that banking industry cannot offer that product or that capabilities. So we can donate in small amounts, 50 cents each or around the world. Say if that video is not on television but on YouTube, and everyone is watching YouTube and Facebook Live right now, she can crowd funds from the rest of the world for her flood, victim, right? And even though they may seem tiny, like 50 cents each, but the power of the crowd, right? Everyone around the world would collect huge lump sum payments for the donation industry. So again, donation industry is going to get disrupted also with much better, transparency, accountability, and micropayment feature. But on the NFT side, recently Jack Dorsey, he could auction his first tweet for 80 million baht. Right? It's amazing how we can bring this scarcity concept into the online world now, right? Before, say, if I'm holding a microphone that Michael Jackson sings in his last concert, right? This microphone would cost a lot. It's not a unique, it's a unique microphone, which is very different from the ones being produced every day, because this is the last microphone that Michael Jackson, holds before he died, right? Before he passed away on his last concert. People would auction this, right? Because it creates a physical scarcity due to the event, right? But once we take the photo of this microphone and upload it online, it costs nothing, because in the past, the marginal cost of production of the internet is 0, right? Imagine if we are talking I'm talking with you right now, right, Matt? And if we were to add 500 people in the same room today, the marginal cost of production would be 0, right? Because it costs us nothing for us to do a live show. But if we were to do this physically, right, me and you talking in a room, and if we were to add 500 additional people in, we would have to first of all find 500 more seats. Each seat in a hotel room would cost maybe 1,000 baht each, and waitress serving food, right? The additional cost would go up in tandem with the output. But with the arrival of the internet, the marginal cost of production is 0. Once we take a photo of that microphone that Michael Jackson sings on his last day, the cost is nothing. We cannot monetize it because you can copy that photo as much as you like. Internet creates what we call the digital abundance aspect. But for once, with the arrival of blockchain and NFT market, you can actually convert this digital files of digital photo of that microphone into, a digital scarcity file. A file with digital scarcity property, right? There's this one unique, photo that you can identify that this is real, authentic, and we are able to authenticate on blockchain that this is the real one and definitely the unique one and only in the world, right? Very similar to the physical property of that microphone now that people are auctioning, because there's only one this type of microphone in the world, the one that Michael Jackson holds on his last day. Right? That's why Jack Dorsey, he auctioned his first tweet, which is equally an exciting event. Before Twitter gets this big, it was the very first humble tweet before Twitter becomes a giant as it is today. If you to compare to the event that Michael Jackson sings his last song before his death, they're both very important events. But for the physical event, you can monetize the microphones. But for the digital events of very first humble tweet by Jack Dorsey, we could not monetize that moment until the arrival of NFTs and blockchain, right? So with charity, you can not, in the past, we can only auction physical assets, and you earn, the money you earn from that auction, you would donate to the society, right? A lot of millionaires, billionaires in Thailand right now have their own charities, right? Named under themselves, and they usually sell like sport cars, supercars, or antique, goods that their families have been collected over the years, and they would donate those money back to the society. But for the first time in human history, you can sell digital products too that are unique in properties too, and you can earn the money from digital auction and donate back to the society, right? So we can sell intangible assets, not just tangible assets going forward in the future. So money from donation would increase to maybe an order of magnitude more, because now you can monetize different hidden layers that we could not do in the past.
Interesting stuff. I mean, to your first point, obviously the transparency and the ability to make micropayments. I mean, we're seeing huge application for that with Stellar because of their really low transactional cost of getting money across borders. So, and to your second point, yeah, I mean, we're running some NFT experiments later in the year. So I will, when that happens, I shall let you know, because it's going to be interesting to see how the market adopts it and how some of these nonprofits can benefit. So I'm kind of mindful of time. We're coming to the end. It'd be great, in terms of knowing my audience, and there are definitely people who will be listening who are just going, where do I start? How, what do I do next? I'm hearing all this stuff about Bitcoin and blockchain, and, what's your advice to people, learning about the space, making maybe their first, investment? What, where should they go? How should they learn? Just some advice from you would be great to kind of close out.
Sure. First of all, we don't need to rush into the space, right? We need to make sure that we have the right education, right? We have a complete understanding of how blockchain works, of how cryptocurrency works before we enter the space, because at the same time, when an industry is so hot, there are a lot of scammers also, right? A lot of people trying to mislead other people. So we need to be careful. We need to get access to the right education. I would say maybe try to open up your first cryptocurrency wallet. It doesn't cost anything to download the Bitkub app and create your Bitkub account. You can, for those who know how to sign up for a Facebook account, you would know how to sign up for a Bitkub account. You just use your email, enter your password. Very important, make sure you have a two-factor authentication also. It's another app that you can download to your phone. You can use Authy or LastPass Authenticator app or Google Authentication. You can download this on Google's App Store to make sure that, if you lost your password online somewhere to a hacker or someone else that knows your password. And by the way, do not use like your date of birth or the same password as your Facebook or email. Don't use the same setup password. Right? But once a hacker or someone else got access to your password, if you turn on your two-factor authentication, a hacker or that thief would have to steal your phone as well. It's a second set of password, second layer of password that changes every 10 seconds, and you need to enter into the app on your phone that it's like a double password, right? To make sure that your account is fully secure, right? And once you create an account, you need to verify yourself first, right? We need to we need to comply with the regulations on KYC, right? You know your customer. You need to validate yourself, right? You need to put in your first name, second name, occupation, income, and you need to take a selfie holding your ID card, so the team can verify it with the database. Right? And if you fill in the correct information, usually um, within 24 hours, your account will be verified, right? And once your account is set up, you need to also link your bank accounts to your Bitkub account. And please do not use someone else's bank account, because the team would not let that pass, or the money would get stuck in the middle of the Bitkub account, because we do not let other people's cash out from your Bitkub account. Make sure that your book bank has the same first name and surname as your Bitkub account, first name and surname. Do not use your wife's account also. Otherwise, the money would not be processed, right? It would stuck, and it would take like at least a week for us to return back the money, right? Make sure you attach your own book bank to your Bitkub account, and once the account is fully set up, maybe try to deposit 100 baht first by scanning the QR code, and you would be surprised that the money would hit your Bitkub account within 3 seconds. Like, you can try this 24/7. 24 hours, 7 days per week. We are already connected to all the local banking rails, almost pretty much every bank in Thailand. And once the money is in your Bitkub account, you can try to put in a market order or a limit order as a buy order. Say if you want to try to buy Bitcoin first, right? A market order is when you're a price taker. You take what is best currently in the market right now. You take it, you buy it right away at the current price. But the limit order is the price maker. You make the price. Right? Whatever price that you feel you're happy with, you will wait for that price. You put in the limit order to wait for the price to drop or to increase to the limit that you set. And it would auto execute once the price reaches that equilibrium point that you set earlier. It could take years if you put in an insensible price, or it could take weeks. Yeah, But if you want to buy right away, you can use a market order, right? To be the price taker, not the price maker. Right? And once you have your Bitcoin in your wallet, try to send the Bitcoin to your friends. You can send micro payments, because you only buy like 100 baht of Bitcoin. Right? You can send 0.000001 Bitcoin to your friend. Your friend needs to give you a public key for you to send your Bitcoin to. And once you send your Bitcoin, you can go to blockchain.info to check the confirmation time. Usually, after 3 confirmation or 30 minutes, Bitcoin would arrive in your friend's wallet. And make sure your friend send your Bitcoin back. You can give your friend your public key, which is accessible on your Bitkub wallet. Every Bitkub wallet have their private keys, right? And once you're opening up Bitkub wallet, you will have a lot of public keys on different coins. You automatically have 40 sub wallets for different cryptocurrencies. So if you want to receive Bitcoin, you need to go into the Bitcoin wallet section and give the public key of your Bitcoin wallet. And if you want to receive Ethereum, right, Ether, you go to your Ethereum wallet and give out the public key of your Ethereum wallet. Do not give out your Bitcoin public key. It's not interoperable, right? And once your friends send you the Bitcoin back to your public key, try to sell it, right? Market order or limit order. Like, once you have matched the order, once you receive Thai baht, try to cash out. Usually it links with you must already link your bank account with your Bitkub account. And it would normally take around 3 seconds for the money to hit your bank account. 24/7, right? 24 hours, 7 days per week. Once you complete the full loop, you can increase more money as you get more comfortable with the process. And my advice would be to use the money that you can afford to lose. Do not lend, do not borrow, take out loans to speculate. Do not sell your houses, your cars. Do not put everything into this, because all the investment has risks, right? Risk and return. High risk, high return. That's normal for all kinds of assets. Make sure that you can afford that, to lose, or to speculate on the money that you can afford to lose. Not essential day-to-day like life money, right? Because usually those people that win win in the market are those with really cold money. When they can forget about them because the volatility is high. Once it reaches the peak, I've been in this space for 8 years now. Once it reaches the peak, the price will go down to by 80%. Imagine if you put in 1 million baht in 2017, right, 18, when Bitcoin reaches the all-time high of 600,000 baht per Bitcoin 4 years ago, and the price would drop right down to $3,000. So that's 70% of your money, 80% of your money gone, right? 1 million baht, you would be left with 200,000 baht, right? 300,000 baht. People would panic if you use hot money that you need to use day to day, right? 7% of my wealth gone. But people with really cold cash that they can forget about it, right? If they hold through that period, right now one Bitcoin is like almost 2 million baht, right? Back then it was 600,000. That was the all-time high. You would earn an average return of 300% in 3 years, which is one of the highest return all kinds of assets in the world. Same in the first wave. It happens once every 4 years after Bitcoin halving. I entered the industry from the first Bitcoin halving, the first wave. The price went from $11 up to $1,150. That was the all-time high, right? And imagine if you use hot money or something day-to-day essential money, and the price went down by 80%, down to $200 from $1,150. If you put in 1 million baht, you would be left over with 200,000 baht. People would panic if you use hot, like essential money, right? Or if you borrowed someone else's money, or if you sell your houses or your cars for this. But if you were to use something that you can forget, money that you put aside for 8 years, oh my God, one Bitcoin was $1,150 back then, right? It's the best return of all kinds of assets in the last decades. So make sure you do not use essential money. Do not borrow the money to invest, to speculate. Do not sell your houses, your cars, right? And don't copy your neighbors. If your neighbors, bought a new car, and you said, well, how did you do it? And he said, I speculate on Bitkub, with Bitcoin. Not everyone is in the right circumstances in life or situation or the right education. Make sure you don't rush the process. Don't just say, oh, he doesn't look, smarter than me, but he can get a Mercedes now, or, I can do the same. Don't have that mindset, right? Don't borrow the money. Don't sell your houses for this. Make sure you're in the right state of mind. You have the stomach to ride on the volatility wave. Make sure all the circumstances in your situation is ready first before you get started.
Cool. Sensible advice. So, look, pretty much at the end. So I appreciate you coming on again. In terms of people wanting to follow you, social media, keep up to date with the stuff you're doing. What's the best place? Twitter, Insta? Do you want to just share your handles where you'd like people to go and follow you and see what you're up to?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me on this show. It's a great, pleasure, and it was a very productive session. I hope the listeners enjoyed this session, the discussion. It's a very useful and productive knowledge for the future also. You guys can follow me I'm pretty much on all the social media. But the most active ones is I have a Facebook page, right, with almost 1 million followers now. You can search Topp Jirayut official. So Topp, TOPP, double P, right? Topp Jirayut is my first name, JIRAYUT, and then official. You can follow that page. It's a page that shares all the future innovation and disruptions. We talk about what is social banking, what is cloud kitchen, what is blockchain, what is central bank digital currencies. It's a page that would never talk about the traditional finances or stocks. We would rather educate about the future disruption. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I'm on all social media. You just search Topp Jirayut official, and the official page would come up.
Cool. Well, I will leave those links in the notes for anyone who's listening to the pod. But look, thanks for your kind words. Also, really, it's been productive. It's been interesting and insightful for me to hear some of your kind of thoughts and opinions on the sector. So, and I look forward to speaking again, meeting hopefully as things start to open up here in Thailand. And yeah, wish you all the best. So thanks again, Topp.
Thank you very much, Matt. Have a great week.